you know is less important than who knows me,
you.
right?
Wow.
Right. I need people. When I go to Thailand, I need people when I get to Thailand to know I'm in Thailand. Rather than me making phone calls, I'm coming to Thailand. I need the spot I'm going to, or the new city, whatever the city is that I'm going to in Colorado, where I've never been, with a new name. When you don't have a name and nobody knows you, nobody's going to welcome you. Nobody's going to take care of you. Nobody's going to offer you food, water, business. People do business with people they know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people like people they know. You don't like somebody you don't know.
That needs no introduction is with us here today. Grant Cardone is in the house. Holy moly, Grant, I'm so excited to have you here.
I am so excited to be with you and honored, and really appreciate you thinking enough of me to want to share you with your audience.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you here. And I was thinking about the interview and I'm like, where do we go? What do we talk about? Because there's so much. But I think a great place to start is you just finished filming for the show Undercover, Billionaire, which is crazy, and the stuff that you had to do. So walk us through a little bit of, number one, the decision to do the show, and then number two, the experience for you, the transformation, all of that.
Yeah. So this was the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. I watched Glenn Stern, who was last year on Discovery Channel. Yeah. He was the first person to do this. Discovery Channel knew who he was and challenged him like, hey, Glenn, what would you do if you only had $100 and you had to start over? And then they called me and said, hey, would you do this? And I've said, could you do it? I said, well, I could do it, but I don't know that I should do it.
Right.
Yeah, because, I'm out telling people, educating people, showing, telling people the American dream is real and you can do anything, and giving people advice. And I'm like, if this thing falls, if I don't prove this, it's going to kill my brand.
Right. Yeah.
And then I watched the show. I watched this guy go off to Erie, Pennsylvania. He didn't know where he was going, and start over with $100. And literally 3 minutes into it, I made it, watching his show from last year. 3 minutes into it, I called my wife into the room and I said, I'm doing this show.
Yes.
And the reason I did it is because the number one question people ask me is, hey, look, if you lost the plane and your family and your fans and the money, what would you do? And rather than telling people what I would do, I'm like, I'm going to show them.
Yes.
Well, what I didn't plan on was COVID, right? I didn't know COVID was going to hit. So like literally 3 weeks into the project, I go to a city. I can't tell you what city right now, but I shave my head. I lose my name. I can't use any of my money. I cannot use my social media following. I can't use any of my personal contacts. I can't tell anybody I'm Grant Cardone and that I've been successful and I've written books and blah, blah, blah. And they dropped me off in a town with $100 in an old truck. And then COVID hit after I got started. I was just getting a little bit of traction.
Yes.
And momentum is so important, and then COVID happens, country gets shut down. What I went into to start with was hard enough.
Yeah.
And I had to come back. And now now I'm trying to start a new business. Restaurants are closed, bars are closed, people are out of work.
Yeah.
It was the craziest adventure, scariest thing I've ever done. The show premieres January 6th. I think America's going to love, because I bet $1 million. I bet $1 million that I could build $1 million business in 90 days. Mm-hmm. So I can't tell you how it turns out.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it. That's awesome. So, obviously you can't reveal the details of, what went on in the outcome. We'll get that from the show, and then we'll bring you back on to talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
For you, having gone through that now and doing what you did, what were some shifts in perspective that you're bringing to your life and to your business now, having done this?
Look, I am so grateful for so many things that I took for granted. Mm-hmm. I'll just tell you some behind the scenes stuff. I lived on beans and rice for 90 days.
Wow.
I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to operate with no money and not use my name. Okay. Like I had completely forgot the value of, hey, my name is. Now I had to say a new name. I had to use a new name everywhere I went. I'm not used to lying to people. I'm a very authentic, transparent person. That's good and bad. That has a lot of negative to it, but I wasn't. Everywhere I went, I had to add this story. That was terrible. And I remember my dad telling me when I was 9 years old, hey, your name is the most important thing you have. Mm-hmm. And I lost that. I lost my name. I lost my family. I thought I was going to bring my family out 5 or 6 days after I started. Once I got there, I realized it would be the most dangerous thing I could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
The city that I was in was fairly dangerous. It's got a reputation, a bit of a reputation, but I didn't have any money. Look, I didn't have a place to live or food to eat. So how am I going to feed my kids?
Oh my gosh. So that's crazy. But I love that you came back with that perspective of gratitude. I personally think that the level of gratitude that you have in your life at any moment is like the #1 determining factor of happiness. I really, really do. I feel like any experience that brings more gratitude into your life is just going to elevate your happiness, your fulfillment, and your success, because I feel like success is so easy when you're grateful, you know?
Yeah. It was just so many things that I had forgotten that were important. Water. Yeah. I didn't have water. Like, where do you get water from if you don't have water?
Oh my gosh.
You know, a credit card, having a credit card to be able to put stuff on credit. Like, you know.
Wow.
I mean, basic stuff, you know, and not being like, I was scared every day, because every day I was terrified. A different level. Like, I'm scared of my life. I'm scared. I do all these big deals, these big real estate deals. We do these big 30,000 person conferences. Tremendous amount of fear and uncertainty, but the uncertainty, losing your name, losing everything, like starting over and knowing your reputation's on the line every day, and not having your family with you. Like, literally, when I tell people this was the single hardest thing I've ever done in my life. If Discovery came to me and said, look, we'll pay you $1 million to do the show again, I'd be like, no. I'm not doing it. I would never do this again.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, I cannot wait to tune in. I think it's incredible. I love that you did the show. And I can't wait to see the shifts for you and all of that. I want to talk a little bit. So your brand obviously has just skyrocketed over the years, right? And I think so many people, they have a little blip, they have success for a minute, and then, you know, for whatever reason, they fall off. And you've been so consistent. And now you're at the point where the 10X brand, the 10X conference, it's, you know, the biggest business conference in the world.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the continuity of the journey, the long-term focus. I would love to hear your mindset.
Yeah. So it's a great question. By the way, you do an awesome interview.
Thanks.
The 10X thing, you know, like, people look at me today that maybe were running into me in the last couple of years. They're like, oh, he's 10X. But the reality is I wasn't 10X in the beginning. Like, that was discovered. My thing is not, I don't build courses just to sell a course. I'm building courses because I'm figuring out my way along the way.
Yeah.
And basically building a course. The 10X rule, for instance, it was me writing to myself about what I needed to do not to keep being in trouble all the time. Financial trouble. Financial insecurity trouble. You know, like I was working hard since I was 25 years old till about 50. 25 years I worked hard. I had not discovered 10X.
Right.
And when 2008 came, 2008 basically erased 25 years of work that I'd put together, 25 years of building a business, 25 years of savings, 25 years of investments got wiped out in 3 months.
Wow.
And I'm like, once I got over the what happened, what just happened? Once I got over that and said, okay, what did I do to put myself and my family in this situation? I started writing about it, and out of that came the 10X rule. Because had I 10X my business, my clients, my customers, my verticals, had I 10X the number of people who knew me, I would not have been negatively impacted by 2008. I would have been impacted, but not
not devastating the same way. Yeah, I read 10X. I read 10X. I loved it. I thought it was so clear and so simple. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you get it, you get it. But if you don't get it, you know, it's so simple, and it's something that anyone can take and apply to their life, and they can see those exponential results. But it's like, I think for some people it will pass right through them. Other people, it will be like, it'll be a hard stop, and they'll say, oh my gosh, yeah, like I need to make this change here.
The people that get it explode. They don't they don't have incremental. See, I was trying incremental growth. I was trying 3 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. You know, that's like little baby steps along the way. But look, at some point you have to make leaps. Like, I started studying super successful companies. They don't take incremental steps. They take massive bets.
Yeah.
They take massive risks that move the bar.
Yeah.
So much that it changed the quality of your life and the lives of other people around you. And that's the definition of the 10X rule. It's like, the goal is not to change your life. It's to change your life and the lives of the people around you, because of the success you experience is so dramatic. And, you know, I just didn't think like that. I was satisfied with being in the upper middle class and being comfortable. And so the 10X rule, nobody really knows me until the last 8 or 10 years. And it is the 10X rule that changed everything for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that was definitely, it was like a stake in the ground for the brand. I knew that you had obviously been building and building and building, and you had a huge audience and a successful business before that, but you can definitely see the trajectory of the brand since the 10X. So you felt like the kind of ideas and the understanding of 10X for you, had you had those kind of things nailed down in your business when 2008 hit, it wouldn't have had such a substantial thing. And you mentioned about your audience. So would you say that one of the biggest shifts for you personally when you were looking at 10X was really about like the number of people that you're reaching, the volume of people that you're helping? Like, was a lot of it around that? Like, talk to me about that mindset.
Well, for the small business owner out there, maybe you're in the appliance business, or a masseuse, or a plumber, contractor, builder, real estate agent, chiropractor, you name it, dentist. You're in a vertical. You get stuck in a vertical, and some people call it the lane. Stay in your lane. You know, if you look at any major city in America, there's not a lane, there's a highway. Right. There's a feeder. There's a feeder. There's a dirt road to the side. There's a ditch. And off to that, there's probably a field. Look, if you want to get where you want to get, you cannot stay in a lane. Because what if there's a wreck in your lane?
Well,
yeah. 2008, there was a wreck in my lane, right? So I needed to maneuver to another lane. And when I did, there was nobody there that knew me. And that's a problem.
Right.
And because if nobody knows you, who you know is less important than who knows me,
you.
Right. I need people. When I go to Thailand, I need people when I get to Thailand to know I'm in Thailand. Rather than me making phone calls, I'm coming to Thailand. I need the spot I'm going to, or the new city, you know, whatever the city is that I'm going to in Colorado, where I've never been, with a new name. When you don't have a name and nobody knows you, nobody's going to welcome you. Nobody's going to take care of you. Nobody's going to offer you food, water, business. People do business with people they know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people like people they know. You don't like somebody you don't know.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I learned in 2008 was, as good as I was in my vertical, it was only one vertical. And when that vertical got cut in half, which it did, same thing's happening right now with COVID. If you're in the cruise line business, you're killed. If you're in the gambling industry, you've been slaughtered. You know, if you're a nurse, well, you can't get enough work right now. Problem is, you might get killed doing it. So if you're a policeman, look at what's happening to policemen in America today. You were going for your benefits. Now you're not appreciated. Now you're starting to say, you know what? I don't even want to stay around for the pension. Nobody appreciates me. I can't even do my job anymore. I get spit on, cursed at. I stopped a policeman the other day and I said, hey, roll down your window, roll down your window. I said, thank you very much for everything you do. And he's like, oh, dude, I thought you were going to shoot me to rod. You know, He's like, I thought you were going to shoot me the bird. Seriously. He's like, I thought for sure. I said, no, man, I'm a big fan of the police, right? So you see the policemen that stayed in their vertical and just waited for the pensions at risk right now of the defunding, et cetera. So you need to stay in your lane and be great at it. But I learned that I also need to reach into these other lanes and be able to maneuver in them. And when I do, people need to say, hey, come on in, Grant, we know you.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you were thinking about that, and I think for everyone listening, I want to give a caveat: become successful in your lane first, get something going. Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they're like this, right? They're
100%.
They're trying to do 8 lanes at once and they have no success in any of them. Get success in a lane and then absolutely start to manage yourself outward. But for you, when all of this happened, you're like, okay, half of my industry just got decimated. I need to start having a strategy to have multiple lanes that I'm playing in, and multiple silos that I'm mastering. What did that look like? I mean, I know obviously you're playing huge in real estate. You're obviously in the business and the education and personal development field, but kind of what was your strategic thinking around what lanes you wanted to play in?
So I didn't want to, I can only look, I work extremely hard. So I don't have a problem working, but I also don't want to work and get so dispersed. Like if you're driving a tractor, you don't want to jump to space shuttles.
Yeah.
You want to go tractor. Oh, wow. Maybe there's something I can do with fences since I'm on a tractor. Like I think about a hand. If this is my main business, my next business should be my index finger.
Yes.
So if I'm a chiropractor and I got people coming in wanting to destimulate their body and get rid of pain, okay, well, what can I do? Oh, I could add some kind of
auxiliary. Yeah, I understand. It's like a lily pad, basically, where one circle touches on the next circle, touches on the next circle. And I do think something that people struggle with is doing something completely unrelated, and then there's no carryover knowledge, expertise. Right. Whereas at least the people that know you over here can say, oh, well, you don't need chiropractic help, but this guy really helps with pain. Oh, I know my next door neighbor. Actually, you're expanding the audience out that way without there being a total disconnect. Right.
They should be symbiotic. Like if I move my thumb, it moves all my other fingers. It's impossible to move one of these digits and not move the others, but it doesn't touch this hand. This hand doesn't move over here. And so if I'm in chiropractic, I would be like, hey, stem cells would fit because I could start doing stem cells, big margins. People want it. It's interesting. I should go learn about stem cells rather than learn about real estate right now. Now, in my case, since I was 25, I was out doing these events for car dealers. The second business I added was not real estate. The second business I added was once I went in and did my deal, I added a partner. I didn't own the second business incomplete. I gave a partner the second business. Said, you run it and use my name. The third business was real estate. I added a partner to that as well. Yeah. The reason I added a partner both times and gave them massive amounts of the upside. Yeah. Was so I wouldn't take my attention off the first thing. Yeah. Most people take their attention off the first thing, go to the second thing. Second thing bleeds you out of the first thing that was successful. So be successful at the first thing. Don't take your attention off the first thing. It's a flow, man. It's a flow. And if you cheat on your flow, it will cheat on you.
100%. I say it to my team every day. You take care of the business takes care of you. Yeah. The second you take your eye off of it, exactly. No, this is so smart. And I think it's so important for people to hear. And actually the exact thing that you just walked through, I just set up 2 partnerships going into the year with new businesses where, they can leverage the name and audience that I have. It's an auxiliary service, but it allows me to continue to retain the focus. I love that you walked through that example. Now, I do want to talk about what you're doing with real estate, where I think you're running like a $1.8 billion portfolio. It's probably more now. I'm sure it's more now.
It's 2.2 billion.
Okay, there we go.
It's going to be on December the 3rd. In a couple of days, it's going to be another 165 million above that. So whatever.
I said, there's no way I can get up to date stats on this guy because he's doing deals every day. All I can do is try to get as close as I can. But I do want you to talk about the model of, the Cardone enterprises that you're doing with real estate, because I think it's really interesting. I think it's a really smart perspective on investing. I think it's something certainly entrepreneurs should be looking at as building a stream of income on the side of their business. So I would love for you to kind of walk through the methodology, walk through how entrepreneurs can get into it and leverage it as another stream of income.
Yeah. So for me, like, real estate's always just been a smart, like, to me, it's just, it's simple. I can see it. I can touch it. It provides cash flow, depreciation, and I don't have to, I buy it. I mean, I buy assets that I might not go see that asset for 10 years. I have they're huge. These are huge complexes that we buy. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never lost money in one, never, like not in 2008, 1995. Like, I've been through 6 or 7 massive major contractions. I've never lost money on the kind of real estate we buy. We buy apartments where people have to live, affordable rents, $1,500 to $2,000 a month, where there's jobs. We have 95% occupancy in most of our properties, 98% collections, even through COVID. Like, it's just, it's just I work so hard at my other businesses. I don't want to work hard at my investments. So now I don't invest in the stock market. I mean, like, I hate the stock market. I've never done well in it. If I pick a winner, I never put enough money in it. And if I pick a loser, I put too much in it.
Yeah. It's not for me. So I like what you're talking about. So you're really looking at almost like what I would call like middle America. Essentially, it's like you're looking at properties that have staying power. They're in the sweet spot of people always are going to need a place to live. It's at a price point that the average person can afford. And so what you're saying is you're really finding the most stable element of the market for long-term continuity. Yeah.
So like, it's my, the real estate thing that I do, it's slow. It's not get rich quick.
Yeah.
But it is get rich for sure.
For sure.
So for me, there's 4 elements when I'm investing. Number 1, I don't want to lose my money.
Yeah.
Period. I do not want a loser. I do not want anything on my balance sheet that says I lost, ever. Number 2, I want cash flow every month. When I go to work, I want to be paid. And when I invest my money, I want my money to pay me.
Yeah.
Number 3, I want depreciation. I want big tax write-offs. Real estate is one of the only places left for massive tax write-offs. I'm putting $30 million in this deal that we're going to close on December 3rd. The $30 million I'm going to put in the deal, I will write off $11 million from my AGI. I'll only own the deal for 27 days. I won't even get a check from the deal in December, and I'll write off $11 million of the purchase.
That's incredible.
And number four, I want appreciation long-term. So those are the 4 things I have to have. Don't lose money. I want cash flow, paid to wait, basically. I want depreciation. I want to beat up the IRS as much as I can. I don't want to pay them any more than I already pay them. I already pay them plenty. And number 4, I want long-term appreciation. We look for doubles and triples over long periods of time.
And you can't get write-offs like that, especially if you have successful other businesses. Like where can you get write-offs like that?
If you invest money in the stock market, you're not getting a write-off. You're not getting any depreciation. Yeah. You don't get any cash flow, and you're at risk every day.
Absolutely.
If you've been in the stock market for the month of October, you did great. Or November, you did the best month they've ever had since 2008. But did you load up? Were you loaded up in the right things?
Yeah.
And most people are not loaded up. They're diversified. So they get 1 winner and 17 maybe decent ones. Talk about the 1 winner. And I just don't want that. I have enough drama in my life with my business. We have 500 employees. I have drama coming out of it. I don't want drama in my investments.
Sure. Yeah.
And I've got 2 little girls here. I got drama. I don't want drama with my real estate. So with my investment. So
no, I love it. I love it. So, then talk for just a moment about the deals that you do, that you invite others to participate in, because and then, obviously you can let people know where they can go to get more information.
So what happened was up until 2 years ago, I never let anybody other than family and friends, really close friends, really, really close, invest with me. And then clients, we do events like you mentioned earlier. We did Miami Marlins Stadium 2 years ago. It's 34,000 people there. Well, out of 34,000 people, there's some extremely qualified people there. That's a big number. So I got about 10 or 11 million people that follow me online. There's a percentage of those guys that are running businesses like you and I, real businesses, not just coaching businesses and people that have real investments in their business. And they're like, I don't have time, Grant, to go find real estate. I don't have time to find it, buy it, manage it. And they're like, these are guys with millions of dollars. They're like, hey, can I invest $1 million? They know I'm putting 30 million in this deal that I'm buying right now. They're like, hey, can I get some of the other deal? Yeah. In this case, this deal's got $65 million. I'll write a check for, and then I'll give half of it away to business owners. We started doing this 2 years ago. I had people giving me money, putting money in the real estate that I buy that then became even better clients of mine, because now they're not buying books from me or trainings or educations or masterminds. I'm sending them $5,000 a month.
No, it's amazing. And it's such a smart crossover, especially you're teaching people how to build successful businesses. So of course, as you build that success, you're looking for investments. So there's like a perfect, that's super smart. So
let me just say this, because what we did was, the benefit here is that I could have gone to Goldman Sachs and said, look, I'll put in 60 million, you put in 600 million. They would do that in a second. They do it every day. Rather than doing that, I said, hey, why don't I just go to people that are already doing business with me? Yeah. Not a bank, not Goldman Sachs, not people that are already super rich. Go to the people in America, let them invest alongside me and give them, without a middleman, no middleman involved, no broker fees involved, and let them invest directly with me. And we're partners. And I'll tell you, the biggest benefit to me, in addition to me scaling my apartments, has been the relationships that I have developed with our business owners took such a different level. Yeah. When I send your family $1,000, $2,000, or $5,000 or $400 a month, when I send your family that, like when you go to pick somebody to go to their mastermind or go to a conference, or you want to go to a class, you're like, hey, I'm going to go to Grant. He sends me money every month. Yeah. So it's been a game changer for my business. Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Where's the best place for people to go if they want to learn more about that specifically with you? Yeah, it's open for accredited investors only. You can text 407. Let me see. It's 305-407-0276. 305-407-0276. And I'll have somebody hit you right back about the deal we're doing right now. I love it. That's awesome. So what advice would you give to business owners that are really looking to do the 10X audience thing, right? They got it going on, they're growing, they're making money, they're plugging along, but they're ready to go from what you said earlier, Grant, single little incremental steps to those 10X leaps, especially in that audience building, that influence piece of, that relationship. You keep mentioning about the relationship with the market. What are some tips you would give around that? So look, the first thing you have to do is you have to think all your problems are created because of your think. So whatever attention you have on your problems, man, I can't good people. Okay. Well, you don't have any people. Yeah. You're like, I can't even find one employee. No, you need to think about finding 10. And be satisfied, be happy that you have 10 bad employees, because 10 bad employees are better than none. Otherwise, you're the slave and the master. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So you have to scale your business now. You cannot play the little game. It doesn't work. There's validation everywhere that you can't. Nothing great is ever done by yourself. So I would start thinking about whatever problem you have. You need to think about, okay, I need 10 times that problem. Yes. Yes. So if you don't like your advertising budget, you're like, I can't spend $1,000 a month. You need to figure out how to spend $10,000 a month.
That's it.
It's completely contrary. But what'll happen is it'll force you to quit looking at your baby problems and grow up and start looking at, okay, I need to grow up now and become a real business.
For sure. I love it. It's so true. I want to post that everywhere. I'm going to put it on my Instagram. All of your problems stem from your think.
Yeah.
Because it's absolutely true. And I think that's the thing is like, it's how you're thinking. It's how you're perceiving the problem. It's what you're doing about it. You change that and everything begins to change. Right.
Yeah. So like, I'll give you an example of like, without spending money, like if you don't like social media, okay, you don't like me on social media. You watch me on social media, dude. Every time I hit Instagram, I see you. Okay. It's because you need to be doing what I'm doing, period.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't see you. Like, I'm not saying you, Kelly. I'm saying I don't see the audience. You guys don't bother me at all. That's a problem.
Well, and it's triggering someone because they recognize that they're not doing what they need to be doing, and you are doing it, and it makes them feel a certain way. Which that's a whole nother episode we'll do, Grant. Come back.
We'll do that.
But I love what you're doing. The consistency of your brand, the consistency of your messaging, the trajectory has just been explosive, but it's 100%. You can see your intentionality. You can see you showing up every single day. And I appreciate that as a business owner. I really appreciate being able to watch someone that for not a few weeks, not a few months, not a few years, but a few decades has shown up with intensity and that immense focus. And you're a role model for entrepreneurs. And it's been awesome talking to you. And I feel like there's so much value just in this short conversation for people. So thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to invite people. Obviously, you're all over, right? You're everywhere. But what do you want people to do? Where do you want them to go? Hit you on Instagram?
We're doing if you guys want to come down and see my operation, I mean, I think everybody should do a little more due diligence on the people they pick.
Mm-hmm.
Don't judge people by their Instagram or their Facebook, or go see their company.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Go look at my employees. How many employees do I have? How are they doing? How are they being paid? Are they happy? Go look at them, right? Go look at the operation. We have a 25,000 square foot facility here in Miami. We're doing a mastermind this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for about 25 people. 2 days, you get to spend 2 days with me. Ask me anything about scaling, growing, getting through COVID, preparing for the next, whatever COVID is. And how you can get you and your family and your business in a position where it's indestructible and you have true freedom for yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you are the guy. So Grant, I appreciate it. And guys, he has a couple openings for the mastermind. If you can get yourself down there, hit up Instagram. You'll see he's talking about it. Look at what he's doing with real estate. If you haven't read 10X, it's a must. It's on my bookshelf right now. Grab it. And thanks so much. Thanks for what you're doing. And thanks for the time on the show today.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. You're doing an awesome job.
Thanks a lot. All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody.
My name is Kelly Roach. I help entrepreneurs around the world build, grow, and scale successful online businesses. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an episode.